All right, so CR20, take a look at these addition and subtraction of rational expressions. If you remember when we're adding just number fractions, right? Like 1/6 and 1/12, you'd have to find the least common multiple of 6 and 12, right? And what you did is you're like, well, let me factor both of them. That's 4 and 3, or 2 and 2 and 3. And the least common multiple was the most of whatever you have. In other words, the 6 has 1 2, the 12 has 2 2s, so you'd have to take 2 2s, and they both have 1 3. So the least common multiple was 2 squared times 3, 12, right? And so then you could actually add these, but you'd have to give this another 2. Whoops, another 2, so you'd have 2 twelfths plus 1 12th. So again, that 2 plus 1 all over 12, 3 twelfths or 1/4, right? So we're to find a common denominator, right? We're finding the least common multiple. So we're going to practice because we're going to be adding and subtracting rational expressions. So we're going to have to find a bunch of common denominators. So let's go ahead and practice finding least common multiples. So let's go ahead and factor this x squared minus 100 first, and let's look at that. That's difference of squares. And then let's factor that x squared minus 9x minus 10, and then we'll go ahead and find their least common multiple. So the least common multiple would be, they both have 1 x minus 10. So that's the max that I have of those. I just have one of those. Notice the x squared minus 100 has an x plus 10, so I have to give it an x plus 10, and then this one over here also has an x plus 1 factor. So there's my least common multiple of those two polynomials, right? Let's go down to this next one here. Go ahead and factor the first one. Take an x squared out. Difference of squares. Go ahead and factor this one. Take an x out. So our least common multiple, I say, well, they both have an x. This one has 1x, but this one over here has 2 x's. I got to take the most of whatever factor I have. So I got to take 2 of those x squareds. And now they both have, this has 1x minus 3, but over here, notice I have 2 of those x minus 3. So x minus 3 squared, I got to take 2 of those. So x squared times, oh, I factored that wrong. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. That's x minus 3x plus 3. Whoops, a daisy. That means we only have 1x minus 3. Sorry about that. And then I also have an x plus 3. Whoops. There's our least common multiple there. Okay, why don't you guys go ahead and try that one. Go ahead and check yourself there with that one. And let's move on to the next one. You can pause that if you need to take a look at that. All right. So here here's our first one. So we actually got 3 polynomials on this one, but let's go ahead and factor out an x squared here. I got 64x squared minus 16x plus 1, and that'll keep factoring. Notice that's 8x minus 1, 8x minus 1, so it's, oops. There's that one completely factored. The next one, 8x to the 4th minus x cubed. I can take an x cubed out of that. And I have 8x minus 1. That's totally factored there. This last one is just x to the 4th. Well, that's already factored. X to the 4th. So our least common multiple. The blue one's got 2 x's. The green one's got 3 x's. The red one's got 4 x's. So I got to take the most of whatever factor I have, right? So I have 4 x's. Now the green one has 1 8x minus 1, but the blue one has 2 of those. So I got to have 2 of those 8x minus 1 squared. And that's it. That's all the factors we have. We've accounted for all our factors for the least common multiple on that. Similarly for this one, take an x squared out. I'm sorry, take an x out. I have x squared minus 49. That's difference of squares. Take an x out of this. Notice that'll factor into x minus 7, x minus 7. And then this last one, you remember a cubed minus b cubed factors into a minus b, a squared plus ab plus b squared. And 343, that's the same as 7 cubed. So my a is x, my b is 7. So this factors into x minus 7, a, so that's a minus b, a squared plus a b plus b squared. Now let's do our least common multiple. Well, 1x there, 1x there. Looks like I have at most 1x. There's an x minus 7, but this one's got 2x minus 7. That's just got 1, so I got to take 2 of them total. This one's got an x plus 7. No other x plus 7s. And then this last one I have x squared plus 7x plus 49. And I've accounted for all the factors. I've taken the most of each factor. And that, like I say, that'll get us into being able to add and subtract these things. So if you notice this next example, notice they already have a common denominator. They both have that x squared plus 100. Right? So they have a common denominator, so I can go ahead and add and subtract them. So I take the x squared numerator minus the other numerator all over this common denominator. They both have an x squared plus 100. Now I see if they factor to see if anything cancels. Well, the numerator is difference of squares. The denominator does not factor, so I'm just stuck right there. But I have simplified it and used that common denominator. This next one does not have a common denominator, so I got to find the least common multiple of 7 and x. Well, the x needs a 7, and the 7 needs an x. Now I have a common denominator. So now we have 7 times this x minus 4 all over 7x plus 11x all over 7x. And notice I have a common denominator, so I can add these things up. So I have 7x minus 4 plus 11x. This is all over that common denominator. And then I can go ahead and simplify that. 7x minus 28 plus 11x all over 7x, which becomes 7x plus 11x, 18x minus 28 all over 7x. And I can take a 2 out of that numerator there. So I have 9x minus 14 all over 7x, but still nothing cancels, so I'm just stuck. Excuse me, I'm stuck right there. That one. This next example, we've got an x plus 3 in the denominator and then an x minus 3 in the denominator. So let's go ahead and give it some common denominator. So this one needs an x minus 3, so I'll give it, which means I got to give it to the top. And then the right-hand one has an x minus 3 already, so it just needs an x plus 3. So x minus 3, x plus 3 is our common denominator on this. And let's go to there with that one. So I have x minus 3, x minus 6 all over this. So notice they have a common denominator, so this will simplify to the first one. And I'm going to go ahead and do that on both of these. So I have x squared minus 6x minus 3x minus 9x plus 18 minus, now I'm going to FOIL this one, x squared plus 3x plus 7x plus 21. Oops, I should combine those to have 10x there. This is all over this common denominator. And now I'm going to distribute this through. So minus x squared minus the 10x minus the 21. This is all over this common denominator. Notice those cancel, and now I'm just combining that, and I'm combining 18 minus 21. So we have negative 9x minus 10x, negative 19x, 18 minus 21 minus 3, all over this common denominator. It looks like that's as far as we can go with that. All right, I'm going to make this a U-try problem right here. I think you can go ahead and try that next one. In fact, these next, I think it's the next couple. Go ahead and try. Go ahead, check yourself on that one. Pause it if you need to, and then try that next one, and pause it again if you need to. Go ahead, check yourself with that U-try problem. Pause it if you need to. Alright, so for this next one, let's give this one an x minus 7, so it has a common denominator, and we'll give this one an x plus 7. Now we'll have a common denominator, so this will become x times x minus 7 plus 8x minus 3 times x plus 7. This is all over the common denominator. Distribute that, go ahead and distribute all that. Gives us 9x squared. Let's see, that gives us, is that 46? Man, looks like that numerator cannot be factored. That's not gonna work out for us, so we're stuck right there. Now this next example, the x squared minus 100, notice that's not factored yet, so I'm going to go ahead and factor it since it's not factored for us. So difference of squares. And so notice the one on the right has an x. I got to give this one an x and an x. The one on the right only has an x, so I got to give it an x minus 10 and an x plus 10. So I'll have x squared plus 6, x minus 10, x plus 10, all over this common denominator. I'm going to go ahead and distribute that, so that becomes x squared plus 10x minus 10x, which is gone, minus 100. So I've got 7x squared minus 600 all over this common denominator. Any questions on that one? Let's keep going, guys. We got this next one. I notice I have an x and an x plus 7. So this one's missing an x. And that's my, notice the bottom right there, x plus 7, x plus 9. That's my common denominator. So this one's missing an x plus 9. So now this will become, with the common denominator, x plus 7, x plus 9. Go ahead and distribute that. So I got 8x plus 72 plus 3x. Well, 8x plus 3x is 11x plus 72. And we're actually all done right there. Can't factor anything more. that numerator there. Have you guys try that one right there? Go ahead and check yourself there. Pause it if you need to. Let's move on to that next one. Notice the next one down below, we've got to factor both denominators there. So let's go ahead and start that first. So this will factor into x plus 6, x minus 2. Over here I've got difference of squares. So they both have an x minus 2. The left-hand one has an x plus 6. This does not. Let's give that an x plus 6. And that's our common denominator. X plus 6, x minus 2, x plus 2. So this one's missing an x plus 2. So we got, and I'm going to go ahead and distribute that. I got 9x squared plus 7x plus 18x plus 14 plus, and now I'm going to just go ahead and do those. 4x squared plus 24x plus 5x plus 30. This is all over this common denominator of x minus 2, x plus 2, x plus 6. So let's see, we got 9x squared, 4x squared, I got 13x squared. And then I got, let's see, 7x and 18x. That's 25x. And that's, these two give me 29x. So what's that, 54x? And then I got 14 and 30, so I got 44. This is all over this common denominator. And that's actually as far as we can get on this one. And you guys go ahead and try that one similarly, and then we'll check it. All right, go ahead and check yourself on that one. Pause it if you need to. Thanks for watching.